Balban. A name whispered in hushed tones. A name that sends shivers down the spine. A creature born of shadows and doubt. A being that thrives in the darkest corners of the mind. He is the embodiment of delusion, the master of paranoia, the architect of fear. His very essence feeds on the vulnerabilities of the human mind, twisting thoughts and perceptions until reality itself becomes a hazy, uncertain landscape, a maze with no exit. Imagine a world where your senses deceive you, where every whisper seems laced with hidden meaning, every glance a judgmental stare, every shadow a lurking threat. This is the world Balban creates. A prison built not of bars and stone, but of fear and suspicion, a cage of the mind. He is the voice in the dead of night, whispering doubts you never knew you had, planting seeds of uncertainty. He is the fleeting shadow at the edge of your vision, the prickling sensation of being watched when you are alone, the chill that runs down your spine. Balban is the insidious demon that lurks within us all, waiting for the moment our grip on reality falters, ready to pounce and make us his own, turning our minds into his playground. Balban's approach is subtle, a gradual erosion of reason rather than a sudden assault. He doesn't storm the gates of our minds. Instead, he slips in quietly, unnoticed at first. He starts with whispers, seeds of doubt planted in the fertile ground of our insecurities. These whispers are insidious, growing louder and more persistent with each passing day. A casual remark becomes a veiled insult. Innocent words are twisted into barbs that sting and linger. A friendly gesture transforms into a sinister plot. Trust is eroded, and every action is viewed with suspicion. He preys on our vulnerabilities, magnifying our fears and anxieties. What was once a minor concern becomes an all-consuming dread. The nagging feeling that we are not good enough, smart enough, or worthy enough becomes a deafening roar under Balban's influence. Self-doubt turns into self-loathing. He twists our perceptions, turning friends into foes and allies into threats. Relationships crumble under the weight of mistrust. The world, once a place of wonder and possibility, shrinks under the weight of Balban's paranoia. Every shadow hides a potential danger. We retreat into ourselves, seeking refuge from the perceived dangers that lurk around every corner. Isolation becomes our only solace. But there is no escape from Balban, for he resides within the confines of our own minds. His grip tightens, and we are left to battle our inner demons alone. Balban holds a distorting lens up to our eyes, warping our perception of ourselves and the world around us. He magnifies our flaws, turning minor imperfections into glaring inadequacies. We become hyper-aware of our every mistake, every awkward phrase, every social misstep. Our relationships suffer under Balban's influence. Trust erodes, replaced by suspicion and doubt. We question the motives of even those closest to us, seeing betrayal and malice where none exists. Love turns to jealousy, friendship to rivalry. Balban thrives on isolation, and he will stop at nothing to sever the bonds that connect us to others. He wants us alone, vulnerable, and completely under his control. He wants us to believe that we are the only ones who can truly understand the danger we are in, the danger he himself represents. The longer Balban holds sway over our minds, the tighter his grip on our reality becomes. His influence seeps into every corner of our thoughts, making it harder to distinguish between what is real and what is a product of his manipulation. We withdraw from the world, isolating ourselves from the very people who could help us break free. The walls we build around ourselves grow higher, and the distance between us and our loved ones becomes insurmountable. We become prisoners in our own homes, our own minds. The familiar surroundings that once brought comfort now feel like a cage, trapping us in a cycle of despair and hopelessness. Social interactions become fraught with anxiety and fear. The simple act of engaging with others feels like navigating a minefield, where every word and gesture is scrutinized. Every conversation feels like an interrogation, every glance a judgment. We second-guess ourselves constantly, wondering if we are being perceived as weak or unstable. We avoid eye contact, fearing that others will see through our carefully constructed facade and glimpse the turmoil raging within. The fear of being exposed keeps us in a state of perpetual vigilance. The joy and spontaneity of life drain away, replaced by a dull ache of suspicion and fear. Moments that once brought happiness now feel empty and meaningless. We become shadows of our former selves, haunted by doubts and consumed by paranoia. The person we once were seems like a distant memory, overshadowed by the constant presence of Balban's influence. The world outside continues to spin, but we are no longer a part of it. We watch life go by from the sidelines, feeling disconnected and alienated from the vibrancy around us. We are adrift in a sea of our own making, lost in the labyrinth of Balban's delusions. The path to freedom seems obscured, and we wander aimlessly, searching for a way out of the darkness.